WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. We begin tonight with some breaking news out of Perry County, where a house fire has closed Old Highway 80. Again, that's Old Highway 80. Crews say the fire is massive. Right now, we do not know if anyone is inside. Officials ask anyone thinking about taking Old 80 through Avawam to find a different road to take. We do not know how long the roadway will be closed. We do have a reporter headed to the scene and hope to have more coming up at 6. Well, the rain is over for now, but as temperatures go up and down, rocks and mud can fall into roads, and that's exactly what happened this morning on Kentucky 1441 in Pike County. WYMT's Marianne Fletcher caught up with one road worker about his busy schedule.
Working around the clock.
We work a crazy schedule.
Wednesday morning, Highway Superintendent Josh Blackburn got a 5 a.m. wake-up call.
We are on call 365 days a year.
The Rockslide on Kentucky 1441 in Pike County closed the road between the US 460 overpass and Kentucky 1789.
Our families travel these roads, so we do our best to try to keep everyone safe.
Now road crews are working all day to break up the big boulders and haul them away.
No, they are very time consuming, and it takes a lot of equipment to actually move them.
Blackburn says this time of the year, his crew stays extremely busy.
It's completely saturated, these mountains, and of course, whenever the temperatures get colder, water expands.
Officials say the freeze-thaw cycle is to blame for many of the recent slides, like the one in Pike County.
And believe it or not, it will push rock.
Blackburn says he and his crew appreciate everyone's patience.
I know sometimes we do hinder your travels, but in doing so, we're really trying to keep you safe.
Keeping drivers safe in Pike County. Marianne Fletcher, WYMT Mountain News.
The roadway is back open now. Icy roads are being blamed for a two-car crash this morning in Jackson County. These photos were sent to us by a viewer. She tells us her 17-year-old daughter was driving herself and her 6-year-old brother to school when her car slid off the road and crashed into an embankment. A truck slid off the road in the same area as well. The viewer says her daughter was banged up but not seriously hurt. A salt truck was brought in after the crashes.
And with the clearing skies, we're going to be seeing something we haven't seen in quite some time, and that's a sunset right here in eastern Kentucky. Let's take a look at Buffalo Mountain. You can see as the sun drops below the horizon, we continue to look at clear skies and not a bad day for this time of year. 2 degrees below where we should be on average, 45 for today's high, and right on par with our low temperature. Once again, a few high-level clouds working in. Should not cause any much problems as we head into tonight. Temperatures already in the 30s up to the north, and those 40s will soon turn into the 30s tonight. In fact, an average low of 33 degrees with southwesterly winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. It's going to be breezy at times. And tomorrow, Steve, before the rain works in late tomorrow night, looks really good. We'll break down the forecast for your Thursday coming up in a few short minutes.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Several illnesses have affected students and staff in Knox County the past few weeks, causing them to call off school. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds talks to Barberville Principal Paul Middleton about the decision.
Janitors are scrubbing desks a little extra at Barberville City Schools this Tuesday.
They're going into classrooms, individual desks, anything that they're going to come in contact with their hand. Bathrooms, especially bathrooms.
The meticulous cleaning comes after a plethora of sickness has entered their classrooms.
We've had a couple of viral sickness illnesses, as well as some bronchitis and some strep throat, and so it's a little bit of everything.
Something unusual for their staff and students.
Normally we run about 93% on our ADA, or average daily attendance. The last couple of weeks we've been in the low 80s.
The lowest Middleton has seen in his 25 years in the school, which has prompted the school system to call off for the rest of the week.
We want to get back. We want to get back at it. We want to get our kids well. Get our attendance back up where it needs to be.
Hoping to stop the spread of illness in their schools. In Barberville, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
Barberville staff and students will be using their 3rd and 4th NTI days. Perry County schools will also be closed the rest of the week. You can find all of the closings on WYMT.com. The Kentucky State Police Commissioner released new details this afternoon about a deadly officer-involved shooting in Oldham County. Commissioner Richard Sanders says a trooper shot and killed 24-year-old Tyrell Pounds Monday on Interstate 71. Police say Pounds shot his passenger, 20-year-old Skylar Williams, before he died. Williams was taken to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. Ohio police say Pounds kidnapped Williams on the Ohio State University Mansfield campus. The two have a son together. Police say he is safe with other family members. Today, a bill to make sure constables are trained had its first hearing. House Bill 214 would take away police powers of untrained constables in the state. Out of the 500 constables in Kentucky, only one has police certified training. However, constables have the same powers as police to make arrests. The only way to get a constable out of office is to have them impeached. Under the state constitution, constables have the same rights as a trained law enforcement officer, but nothing in the Constitution says they need training. Congress could hold its first vote soon on a compromise deal to fund the government and avoid another shutdown. While President Trump is expected to sign the bill, he is still looking to fully fund his border wall. He wants $5.7 billion. However, the compromise just gives him about a quarter of it, nearly $1.4 billion for fencing, 55 miles of it in the Rio Grande Valley. Well, while we wait to see if the president accepts Congress's deal to avoid a shutdown, Washington correspondent Kyle Madura looks into lawmakers' plans to make sure the government can never be held as a political prisoner again.
Senator Rand Paul isn't a big fan of big government, but he's sick of shutdowns and wants to sell Congress on a plan to keep the federal government open permanently.
It's a hammer, but we wouldn't have these cliffs anymore. Government would continue on.
Paul's solution is this. As soon as lawmakers miss a budget deadline, the previous spending plan gets extended, but cut by 1%. If the budget stalemate drags out, deeper cuts would follow.
And to tell you the truth, I think government could permanently live on 99% of what they're spending, or maybe 98%.
This year, following the longest shutdown in U.S. history, the idea has more support than ever before in Congress, with plans coming from both sides of the aisle.
You cannot put the federal government on automatic pilot and have it work well.
Georgetown political science professor Michelle Swerz says momentum to end shutdowns is a natural response to political polarization and public pressure. But she argues Congress typically needs deadline pressure to compromise and function. And she says uniform cuts remove accountability.
So you're not scrutinizing what's working and what's not working and increasing and decreasing funding accordingly.
It's a long shot, but if the idea becomes law, the country's longest government shutdown to date could be the last. In Washington, Kyle Madura, WYMT Mountain News.
Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, NASA is saying goodbye to one of its oldest explorers. A look back at the rover's discoveries on the red planet. And in your Money Watch report, another large recall by Ford. We'll tell you what's wrong and what type of truck needs inspected.
And the winds have been breezy today. In fact, they still continue to gust of 15 to 20 miles per hour. They'll shift down to the south tomorrow, and it'll warm us up before another cool down on your Friday. That's coming up in 6 minutes.
It has created a traffic nightmare, causing drivers trying to get around Hazard to have to go through a detour. Straight ahead at 6, hear about a road in Hazard being shut down by a rock slide that's caused drivers massive headaches.